Recognize the gentleman from Florida, Mr. Posey, for his questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Manfra, it staggers the imagination that our government approved and purchased security software from Russia's Kaspersky Labs, known to have ties to the Kremlin's intelligence community. I mean, it's still hard for me to get my arms around the fact that we really allowed that to happen, and that, in fact, that software doesn't protect us. Obviously, it harms America's security by allowing malicious actors to get total access to our computers. Who approved the purchase of that software?
Sir, it's hard to say in every case. Often what we see is that that software was bundled into other purchases. So you buy a computer and the antivirus was installed with the computer, so they weren't necessarily aware that they were explicitly purchasing that, which is why it took a little bit of time for agencies to go through and identify that. You know, in the end, it is the procurement individuals who are making some of these choices. But what we did see is a very low percentage of that presence. But for the most case, what we believe happened was it was often bundled into other purchases.
So where does the buck stop?
Sir, in the end, it is up to every agency head to make cybersecurity risk management decisions, and we are working across the federal government to improve our processes for supply chain risk management to be able to address issues such as this, and to be able to make it clear what software and hardware agencies are purchasing and what risk that introduces into that system.
Okay. So every agency head ultimately is responsible?
Yes, sir.
According to the directive already, you were supposed to receive some reports from every agency that was affected. I think the chairman asked you about that earlier. Would you mind stating for me which agencies have complied thus far?
Sir, all of the agencies have complied with the first phase except for a very small number of very small agencies who just don't have the resources, and we're helping them with that. We're still in the sort of the second phase.
When we say all the agencies except a few, how many agencies are we talking about?
6, sir.
6 agencies have complied?
6 have not complied yet with the first phase, which is the reporting whether they have the products on their system.
How many have complied?
100, there's 102 total agencies, 6.
All right,
no.
96, 98, okay.
Yeah.
Which agencies have not complied?
Sir, I'd be happy to work with your staff, not in an open hearing, to talk to you about the specific agencies. They are working very hard, sir. It is not
I know they're working
hard.
I don't see, what risks there is in naming who hasn't complied. I'm just curious. I don't know if other members are, but I'm curious to know which ones haven't complied.
We would prefer to keep those not public, sir. We don't believe that it is helpful to name them publicly.
How would that harm anything?
I think it could have 2 aspects, sir. It would, alert anybody who was looking to use potentially the presence of that software on their systems, should they have it. It would also harm the relationship that we have. A lot of our work depends on a trusted relationship with these agencies. And
so, if you told Congress that they weren't behaving appropriately, it might hurt your relationship.
Sir, I don't mean to imply that they're not behaving appropriately. What I imply is that these are very small agencies, some of them with only 6 to 10 people in them, that do not currently have the resources, and we're just assisting them with identifying what products are on their system.
Yeah, you talked about fear of litigation from Kaspersky Labs a little while ago when somebody else mentioned that. How in the world could you possibly fear any action by them? I mean, you wouldn't have signed an agreement with them that would allow them to sue you and you not defend yourself, would you?
I don't fear any action from them, sir, but they could potentially take action, and I want to ensure that we are in a position to address any concerns that a judge may have.
Yeah, I think the audacity for, I think, to paraphrase Clint Eastwood, go ahead and make my day.
Yes, sir.
Can you explain to me the penalties to the executive agencies if they don't comply?
We would work with the Office of Management and Budget to determine what the issue was. Sometimes the issue is they don't have the resources, and whether it is to identify the products or it is to replace them. So it may not be a stick that they need, but actually additional resources. Or if there was a stick required, then we would work with OMB to address that.
Have there been any enforcement actions thus far?
No, sir. We have issued 6 binding operational directives, and in each case, every agency that we've worked with has been willing and eager to comply with them. Some of them are challenged with resources, though.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I see my time's expired.
Thank you, Mr. Posey.